Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be going over this unique framer transition inside of After Effects. It literally gives all of your transitions like 2 times more impact. So let's not lose any more time and let's hop right into it. Right before we start the video though, make sure you're subscribed so you do not miss out on sauce like this in the future, and drop a like if you find this tutorial useful. But let's get right into it. So right here in After Effects, I have all of my clips lined up. And as you guys can see, it's pretty flat, there's no transition. So we're just gonna come and add a 1 frame long adjustment layer right here, and we're gonna duplicate it a bunch of times, and you guys are gonna see why later. We're gonna drag this one out right before the transition, and then one right after, and then one 2 frames after the transition. And we're gonna begin making these framer effects. So I'm gonna add an exposure first because I kind of want to underexpose the first clip. So I'm gonna add exposure and curves, and I'm gonna bring down the exposure a ton, and I'm gonna play with the curves, kind of just bring it down and try to get like some high contrast in there. And I think this looks pretty cool. Let me just bring this one up right there so we get this kind of blown out look, which I think looks cool. And now we're also going to add a brightness and contrast, and I'm going to bring the brightness all the way down, and I'm going to up the contrast, and we're getting this look, which is exactly what I was going for. And I think this is perfect for our first framer, so it goes from bright to dark. And we're going to hop right onto the second framer. So I'm going to come over here and add a mini max effect, which does this like really cool like squared blobilize effect. You can kind of mess around with the options, and I'm going to up the radius to 12, and we're getting this effect, which looks super cool. And I'm going to come and add a curves, and we're going to blow out the whites and bring up the contrast so we get this kind of look, which looks absolutely fire. And after tweaking it, I think like this is literally perfect. And to tie it all together, we're going to throw in a VR chromatic aberration, make the aberration red -2, and make the fall off distance 17, which is the sweet spot. And we're going to come and add a CC light burst effect, which ties everything together. It looks beautiful. You can bring down the intensity if you want to. I think just like this is perfect, the intensity a bit down. And we're going to move on to the last framer. So on the last frame, we get that blown out exposure, so it just hits even harder. And this is the final result. And here is the before. As you can see, the amount of impact that this simple technique does, it goes absolutely crazy. We're going to hop right into the second one. I'm going to show you guys a simpler technique to make these using MNRTMO, which is my favorite preset pack. So I'm just going to drag all of these adjustment layers right here, and I'm going to come into MNRTMO, and we're going to open up the framers, and we got about 10 framers to play with. So I'm just going to drag on the black and white glow for the first one so we get that blown out glow look, and then I'm going to use the evil curse for the second one. And for the third one, I'm going to use the crazy one, which is one of my favorites. And if we play that all through, looks absolutely fire, and we were able to do that in just a couple of seconds using these presets. And let me try the underexpose. Yeah, that looks way better. So yeah, and we're going to repeat the process. We're going to drag these adjustment layers and duplicate them a bunch more times and just spread them out in between our clips however we kind of want these framers to hit. And we're going to drag framer 2, which looks so fire. I love the look of this one, especially on dark clips. Framer 2 looks beautiful. We're going to use icy. And yeah, that framer 2 plus icy look looks very, very nice. And to finish that off, we're going to use the warped framer. And now we're getting this result, which looks absolutely bonkers. And we're just going to repeat the process like I said before. We're going to drag out these adjustment layers and just duplicate them onto the other transitions. And for this one, we're going to be using the black and white glow. And I think just 1 framer for this one is going to be cool. Or actually, maybe let me just duplicate this once more and add a, I'm just going to move those right over there for later. And I'm going to add the underexpose, so we get a flash and then it underexposes, so we get kind of like a nice like seamless transition right here. And onto the last transition right here, I'm going to be using 3 different framers. We're going to grab the framer 4. Let's see what that looks like. Nah, that's not for this clip. Let's try a crazy one for the first one. Yeah, okay, that looks super cool. We're going to go with that one, and then we're going to use underexpose for the middle framer. And for the last one, I think something like, yeah, framer 3 looks crazy. I'm going to bring those together and we're going to play that through. And yeah, it looks insane. We're going to play that from the beginning. And as you can see, the amount of impact, we don't have any transitions. All we have is these framers, and it just adds so much impact. Here's the clip without it. As you can see, it's pretty flat. If you're doing any type of shake transition, adding framers right before the shake transition looks beautiful. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So I'm going to come back to MNRTMO. I'm going to go to transitions, and I'm going to use the earthquake 2, which is one of my favorites. It adds so much impact. As you can see, the impact on this is crazy, and it doesn't look great on this frame. So I'm just going to drag this above and put it in between those 2 clips with these framers and play that through. And Jesus, man, that looks so hard. The amount of impact is crazy. And if I were to take all of these adjustment layers off, as you can see, the clean split is just like pretty flat and boring, but with everything on, it just hits so hard. So that is pretty much it for this tutorial. I really hope this tutorial helped you guys out and you learned something here today. And if you did, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe and comment what you want to see next on the channel. And on that note, I will catch you guys later. Peace out.